What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coach Steve Show podcast. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Follow it and rate it wherever you get your podcast, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. If you go do that for me, please, and thank you. Helps grow the podcast tremendously and the show tremendously. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and let's get this thing growing. Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to continue on with our simple defensive segment. Last time we talked about similarities in the 3-4, 3-3-5, and 3-5-3 and everything. So we're going to continue on our base coverages, and we're starting with cover two. So today we're going to talk about how you do cover two out of a 3-4, and then can you really do it out of a 3-5 or a 3-3-5 and a 3-5? It is possible, but it's a little more difficult. It's not what some of those defenses are predicated on, but we're going to talk about how you can do cover two out of those. So let's get into talking about cover two out of the odd man front defenses. So we're going to talk out of our 3-4 here first. We're going to go against a 2-by-2, which is my offensive coach and me talking. So talking about a cover two out of a 3-4. Now we talked about how obviously some of us coaches, we already know this, some that may not. 3-4 is what it sounds like: three down linemen and four linebackers, and you've got four coverage guys. You can label them however you want: tackle, nose, end nose, however you want, and then Mike and Will in the middle, or Mike and Sam, however you want. And then for me, when I ran the cover three, was out of Razor and Laser was the outside linebackers. This obviously gives you a two high, so you're going to look at a cover four or a cover two when you look at it from here from an offensive perspective. So obviously, this gives those away. So let's talk about cover two. It's very similar to a 4-2-5. We'll talk about this: corners line up, head up the wide receivers. On the outside, they have the flats. Now, again, when you run cover two, you can have them line up on inside or outside. You really want to bump those receivers, and they can kind of flow back. Corners can flow back, but not too far. You want them about maybe 5 yards, if not closer. They can kind of bump back, but then they've got to settle in their zone to cover the flats. Your safeties, your free safety, your strong safety, your weak safety, and your strong safety, they will have deep halves when you're in the middle of the field. Then your outside backers, depending on blitzes, they will have like it's similar to a hook curl, but they've got hook curl out here to help cover the slots. You can have them line up in between the slot guys to kind of help out in the run game still. So they've got that. Then your Mike and your Will have middle hook curls. So a lot of stuff is covered in this 3-4 because you've got so many guys. Now, out of this, you could maybe go into a quote unquote Tampa type and cover a little bit in the middle of the field. That could be your Mike backer if he's better at coverage, or your Will to cover that. But a lot of stuff is covered. Yes, the middle of the field is open, but if you can bump guys off the line of scrimmage, if you can just line up a certain way, it deters them from doing so in this 3-4. So in a 3-4, everything in the middle is covered. Now, does this change? Absolutely, because if you blitz one of the backers, because you only have three guys, you have to trust that the Will's going to, or the middle of the mic, depending on who you blitz, covers the middle. Your Razor Laser have out here, and you can play games, which we'll talk about how to play games in a 3-4 because I coached in a 3-4, so we'll talk about that. But this is base stuff out of this. I want to teach you guys bases of this, and then we'll break down each defense and what it could start to look like. So in this 3-4, this is what a cover two would look like for you in a base, simple defensive alignment. Now, when you hop into a 3-5, 3-5 is predicated towards one high because you've got three down linemen and your five linebackers and your three cover guys. So in a 3-5, you primarily will probably play cover three. But if you want to make some switch ups, you want to just keep teams on your toes, you can still play cover two. And this is where you kind of have to play similar personnel and similar games like you do in a 4-2-5 where you roll guys. So if you start off here and against this 2-by-2 and you want to play cover two, you have to determine, is your jackbacker going to be the one, if you call it the jackbacker or whatever your outside guys are they going to come back and play the deep half? So depending on where your strength is, So let's say your jack is the better coverage guy. So your free safety would kind of line up, not quite head up, line up more towards here. Then as they start the cadence, the jack backer would start walking back, and then he could get to this deep half, which then tells us the Will's going to line up a little bit on the outside, Mike's still in the middle, Sam a little bit on the outside, still in run support. Then your free safety would start wandering over, and now he can play the other deep half, which then tells us that this Will backer has to get out and cover this. Not quite the flat because the corner is pretty easy in cover two. They have the flats, but kind of covering, this hook curl and covering that flat. So he's not going to walk there, but he has both of these in this zone area. Then that tells the bandit that he's got this area, like he's a flat defender in this hook curl. Mike has a little bit of the middle deep curl, and so does your Sam. Now, again, in this type of defense, if you rush just three, this is what it could be if you got the three good rushers. If you don't have the three rushers, this becomes a little more difficult because you're probably going to send one of them. You probably wouldn't send your Will backer if the jack's coming back. So your Will would still cover, but you can blitz the Mike, have the Sam since the bandit is still covering the flat for a bubble screen or any short route, like they run air raid hitch stuff. He's there to cover it. If they're throwing to the running back, anything like that, key screens. And so then your Sam could cover everything. So when you have more linebackers like this, it's still able to move. It's still more difficult. But yes, you could still run a cover two in this 3-5 defense. And then continuing on out of that 3-5, when you look at a 3-3, another way to run cover two, it's a little bit unorthodox, but I have seen it when you have more of these linebackers. So you have to determine again who your best coverage linebackers are. If you can, free safety, let's say the jack's still a cover, free safety then could start off a little bit in the middle, and then he starts wandering off again here. Now we've seen where you make a strength call, and now the corner is the one covering the deep half here. Instead of coming straight back, he would come more at an angle to cover this, to kind of give that cover three look. He's dropping back. And then the jack, it's a hard coverage, but then he runs out to cover the flat. This corner on the backside, since it'd be away from the strength, still has the flat. Then you're asking your Will backer here to still cover what we were talking about before. Your bandit, since he's not the one going out, he has here. Then you're probably sending your Mike or your Sam on a blitz. So if you send your Sam, then the Mike is responsible for this hook curl right here. You still have flats covered. So this is a way to still run cover two out of this. It's a little unorthodox because you have the one high safety. Now you're asking one of these backers, depending on personnel, maybe you're asking the corner to drop back and play this and still reps from a cover three perspective. But it is still very possible to run cover two out of those odd man fronts. And there you go. Short video, short podcast, just talk about how to do cover two out of a 3-4, 3-3-5, 3-5-3. The simple defensive segment could change. Just talking about this stuff, we could hop into more of a simple 3-4, simple 3-5-3, simple 3-3-5 type of stuff that you can do, all very similar stuff. Simple 4-2-5 is what I'm kind of gearing towards. But for right now, this is what we're looking at. So appreciate you guys watching and or listening. Very, very short video. I think some of you younger coaches could figure out cover two out of this stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Please leave a rating on iTunes and Apple. Send me a message at Coach_Steve72 on Twitter if you want to be on the podcast. You send me a message to try to be on the podcast, we can certainly set it up and get you on here, especially before we all start getting really busy with football. Even during football, send me a message. We'll try to set it up. Or send me an email at CoachSteveShow at CoachSteveShow@gmail.com. Send me an email there as well, and we can figure it out. So thank you guys for watching and or listening. This is Coach Steve, another episode of Coach Steve Show podcast, and we will see you next time.